Here's an example of a startup of one of our partners, Will Pool.
So let's look at 3 reasons why co-founders have a better chance of success at a startup. The first is that they can come up with better ideas and do better problem solving together. Co-founders can brainstorm. They can come up with both good and bad ideas. And they can convince each other they've got a good idea to go forward, but they can also convince each other not to pursue bad ideas. This kind of interplay is really critical to co-founders being able to work together and chart the course for their startup. I'll give you a personal example. My startup in the early 90s, we were originally doing mobile computing applications for pen-based computers. I called it my off by 19 era. We were doing this 19 years before the millionth iPad shipped. Don't always get things right. But thankfully we were smart enough to figure out that we were not on the right path after about 2 years. And through a circuitous group of events, my co-founder Matt and I came up with the idea of doing multimedia electronic commerce. Now this was a complete pivot for the company. And if the two of us hadn't been able to have a trusted relationship, to be able to bounce these ideas back and forth, I'm quite certain that we would simply have continued on the path we were originally on and ultimately failed. But because we had that relationship, we could look at this idea and say, hey, let's take a risk at this and go at this. We were able to do a complete pivot of the company, build a multimedia e-commerce company, which we ultimately sold to Microsoft a few years later for a lot of money. So that's an example where 2 co-founders and the other co-founders who are with us, of course, could pivot a company and create value where otherwise there would be none. The second reason is that investors are looking for balance across the team. And as you know, almost nobody in the world is great at everything. And so it doesn't really matter how smart and how capable a founder is at building products. That founder is just not going to be able to do technical work as well as marketing or HR or finance all really well together. And as an example that is pretty interesting, think about the fact that the top 20 most valuable Y Combinator companies, of all the top 20, all of them had at least 2 co-founders. So there you have it, number 2. Number 3, having a co-founder reduces the risk both to you as a co-founder and to your investors. So if something happens to go wrong and you're the only founder, your company is in a risky position. It's going to be risky not just for you, but also for your investors. So having multiple co-founders is going to help to reduce the risk of failure in the long run. It's going to help you deal with the unexpected and make both you and your investors more comfortable investing your time and money in this company.